2/3 of all student debt is held by women in the United States. Black women hold the most student debt out of any racial or ethnic group in the United States. Childcare is so expensive that it is outpacing women-dominated fields like education and nursing. Women who hold higher degrees, higher education, can no longer afford to work because of the cost of childcare. So they're going even more into debt with their significant student loans and then their inability to work. Women are also in poverty more than men. We also don't get any paid parental leave. So women have to decide between bonding with their child or losing their job. You can't convince me that they aren't trying to force us into pregnancy, force us to be uneducated, and make sure that we are in the home and reliant on men. Today I read a quote that said, "White women ignore the sexism to benefit from the racism." White women, it's time to get your head out of the sand to protect our future generation. It's time.
Welcome, brothers. These women who have chosen the professional path often feel cheated or deceived by feminism because they see that their lives are not what they thought they would be after finishing university. Many get into these student contracts without proper guidance, ending up so indebted that their wonderful dreams turn into a 40 or more hours per week job just to survive. Why do you think many of them reach their 30s wanting a husband with a good financial position? It's to help them with their financial burdens, to support them. Because if you're my husband, you should support me financially. That's what the modern woman understands. Now I ask myself, these women who are always looking for high-value men, bringing only their physical beauty to the table, which depreciates every year, then who is the real prize in the relationship? Because statistics say that men pay off their debts quicker, live in better conditions than these women. And then these women feel morally superior to criticize the woman who decides to be a homemaker. Women who bet on a man's potential, who at 30 are already married with children, with a home, and sometimes even their own house. Who do you think made the better investment? Because many of these women, once their children are old enough to take care of themselves, go back to studying, get a job, and live healthily with their husband. But the modern woman doesn't understand this. Just watch the following video to see that time spares no one.
As Black men age, their desirability increases. Thus, their optionality of women is always expanding. And the exact opposite is true for Black women. As we age, doesn't matter how much money we accumulate, our degrees or professional accolades. The reality is that our marriage and partnership market value is depreciating with every passing year. No matter how good we look, no matter how fit we are, men are still seeing primarily our presumed dwindling fertility as a knock against us. And speaking of fertility, that is another reason that I want younger Black women to seek marriage and partnership in college or right after, if that's what they choose. Because the number of college-educated Black men is so low when compared to Black college-educated women that we're all going to be targeting the same small pool of men. And as we heard today, on most campuses, there's like 7 Black women students for every 1 Black man student. Y'all do the math. So here's my advice. If you are a young Black woman in college and you know in your heart and in your head that you want to prioritize family, I suggest that you simultaneously pursue that MRS degree right along with that BA or JD. Because the handful of Black college-age men that actually do desire to get married soon, and they do share that value system, and family is a priority for them too, y'all, that is an incredibly small pool, and it's shrinking as you get older. And by the time you reach my age, 40, you will be faced with different choices relating to life partnership and motherhood. Now, I'm not saying that delaying marriage or motherhood is a bad option, but it's one that comes with its own consequences. And our women deserve to know.
Brothers, This is a profound message from a woman who lives what she preaches. This woman chose a career life over getting married and having children, thinking what many women are told nowadays. If you're a successful businesswoman or entrepreneur, you'll have more men eating out of your hand. The problem is that we men are not interested in a professional woman, because every man knows that a woman with money can be the most unbearable being on the planet. Moreover, how many of us know women with money who are more demanding, more bossy, and above all, more masculine? We all know that in a relationship with a woman, the financial understanding is, my money is mine, but your money is also mine. There's no middle ground with women. Mess with her money, and she'll soon be asking for a divorce. This woman is aware that women age like fruit, and men like wine. Look how she says that men gain more value as they age, while women lose value as the years pass. You may still look good, but the concept of family is important to a man. The older a woman gets, the less likely she is to have children. Now I tell you, with this feminism that empowers, you see in this woman's speech that sense of empowerment. I see a woman who understood and made a bad decision. Now she doesn't want more women to follow that same lonely path, which for her is already too late, so they don't end up hitting the wall like she did. Because, brothers, the wall is unforgiving.
I was sent this article, and I believe that this is very important to many of the conversations that we have. With the birth rate declining and cost of living going up and all of the issues that women, the choices that women are facing, this is definitely part of the conversation. Women account for 2/3 of U.S. student loan debt, how it affects them. This came out back in April. I was just sent this today, so let's go into it. Like most Americans, Amy Eichenberg wasn't raised by parents who could easily afford her college tuition. That statement right there, that was me. That was many of the women I know who still pursue our educations. So her dad died before she was born. She had to take out loans, and this was in the early 1990s before the cost of education exploded. But upon getting her associate's degree and thriving in an academic setting, she decided to level up, getting her bachelor's in public health. Then, facing lackluster job prospects, she pursued a master's in healthcare administration. This also happens. This is happening right now, where you have to have you basically have to have a degree in order to make money, but then you have to pay all these exorbitant costs to get those degrees. This particular woman ended up with a lot of student loans, $349,000. So this was much higher than the typical amount of loans that women are taking out. Even still, Americans now hold $1.7 trillion in student loan debt. Nearly 2/3 of that money, $929 billion, is owed by women. On average, borrowers with graduate degrees have roughly $103,000 in student loans, but the circumstances that she faced are not unusual. They're absolutely not. There are so many of us who grew up not having a college fund. So what do we do to get us out of our communities, out of the neighborhoods, into a career that has prospects? What do? You take out student loans. All right. According to research published in 2021, the American Association of University Women with bachelor's degrees graduate with an average of $2,700 more in student loan debt than their male peers. That gap compounds over time as women take 2 years longer on average to pay off their debt, the interest adding up all the while. So I know that we've all heard that Biden is trying to wipe some of the student loans. The status of the various student loans related programs and initiatives rests on the High Court's decision. The High Court is tipping Republican, is tipping conservative. So we really don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm going to create a part 2 because I do want to dive deeper into this article that starts to talk about the impact of Black women. So part 2 is...
You've heard it. 2/3 of the debt. It's been a while since I also saw that women are the ones who have the most credit card debt. Many of these women, by the time they reach 35 or 40, are broke, often due to a lack of financial knowledge, others because they are neck-deep in debt. Why do you think professional women are so keen on finding a man with money, or even end up as the mistress of a boss, or in some cases climb the career ladder in offices by being a boss's mistress? It's because many of them have student debts and prefer to find a man who can help finance their debts. It's said that office workers, along with nurses, are among the professions that are most unfaithful. Many won't waste time in securing a financially well-positioned man. That's why you see so many women saying they want a man on their level, and why in universities, women are often looking for a graduate, because men study less than women. But almost always by 30, we are better positioned economically. This affects many women, brothers, who find themselves broke before even having a family. In the next video, we will see the positions women take when they study, because this gender pay gap is a myth. Also, how many are deciding to buy a house early nowadays? But before we move on, brothers, we want you to support us in our goal for the coming months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want our family to keep growing, so support us with your like and subscription. Don't forget to leave us your comments. We also have a super chat if you want to support the project. Without further ado, let's continue.
So here's a graph showing why women are mostly getting conned by these useless college degrees. So on the left, or the y-axis for you STEM majors, is the median yearly income. And on the bottom, or the x-axis for you STEM majors, is the percent of females in the major. Here's a color-coordinated key for this graph. Clustered at the bottom here are low-paying degrees with a high percentage of female graduates. Absolutely shocked psychology is down there. But accounting and nursing have the best outcomes for women.
Single women are buying more homes than single men.
Yes. The smartest thing I ever did was buy a house on my own when I was 22. And ladies, I wasn't making a ton of money. I was waitressing at the airport. And I wasn't sure if it was something I could do on my own. But I got some advice from somebody who told me just get pre-qualified, see what you can get pre-qualified for, and see what's in your budget. And that's what I did. And that's how I bought a condo when I was 22. I sold it a couple years later, made a good chunk and change on it, paid off a vehicle, bought another place. And that's a huge reason why I've been able to build the wealth I've been able to build.
With the rise of artificial intelligence in the market, becoming more integrated into the procedures of many companies, mainly office jobs are disappearing. Who occupies the majority of these positions? Women. In medicine, whether as nurses or doctors, there are many women working, but these are among the longest and most debt-inducing careers. We'll see this in the next video about the decision of a nurse. Now, regarding the matter of buying houses, it's true that women are purchasing more homes. But this is because many men prefer to buy a house only when they get married. Most single men prefer the flexibility of being able to move to another state or town, which opens up more market opportunities. Besides, while many women tend to marry their jobs, men are more about opportunities. If a job doesn't suit us, we leave it for another. Remember, men function more by objectives. What do I mean? When a man has children, he aspires more to give them a home. It's innate in a man to seek a shelter for his family. But when a man doesn't have children, he doesn't give as much importance to a home as he does to his financial independence or savings. This is why men in this country have less debt than women. Just look at what many women end up doing due to lack of money, which is now what's most trending with the modern woman. Just check the next video.
Promotion, become a doctor, do something else.
So when I was a nurse, I took care of dying children, but I make more money being a porn star on the internet. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Because society doesn't give a fuck. They
About
care
what?
about respecting women like nurses, people that do this, teachers. They don't pay them the same as a porn star can make. So let's change that.
Well, if you're
So
willing,
women- but it's the truth.
well, that's a personal decision that you made, where you're willing to compromise
I went that route.
respect
I went that
for
route.
money, which is fine.
I needed the money. I couldn't support myself.
On a nurse's salary, nurses make six figures.
I live in New York City. I made after taxes in New York City about $100,000 a year.
That is in the top 15% of earners.
I was never going to be rich
Okay.
on a nurse salary.
So
that's facts.
So basically, you decided
I said, yeah.
I want to be rich.
I don't want to be stressed
I will compromise
every single month where
respect,
live paycheck to
right,
paycheck.
from people, because let's be honest, no one
Yeah.
respects porn stars. I will compromise my respect for more money, and that's fine. That's
I did.
a decision you made.
It's a decision I made. I stand by it.
And
yeah.
okay, but you can't
So
get mad at
I'm still a
society
nurse.
for not
I
accepting
disagree
it.
with your comment that no one
Well,
respects porn stars.
No one does, dude. No one does. Even women in themselves.
I'm not saying I wanted to be a porn star. I didn't wake up and
even
say,
women in
I'm going
themselves,
to
when
go
they
to college and
when
be
they
a porn star.
talk shit about each other, what's the first insult a girl says? You're a fucking slut.
Brothers, many women today prefer to lose their dignity for money. You heard right, earning $100,000 a year, which is only achieved by 15 to 20% of the population. But that wasn't enough for her. She wanted more. Not caring about losing her dignity for it, because no one respects a woman involved in this type of content. With Western women today, it's all about money. If you're not wealthy, to these women, you might as well not exist. Many young women, day after day, destroy their families, children, husbands, and even their love lives by engaging in activities like modeling on the Blue app. I wouldn't say they are models. To me, they belong to the streets. Now I ask myself, are these the paths available to women when they choose not to be a man's wife? Living in debt, creating harmful content, or ending up alone and bitter with a cat? Is this better than having a home, a husband, and children? That's why more and more women each day are taking antidepressants and going to therapy. Brothers, times are changing. The number of single women is increasing. More men are leaving the country for a more traditional woman. Follow your own path, because more and more women are hitting the wall, and the wall truly is unforgiving. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about what the businesswoman said? Do you know any women who are ruined by the student loan system? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.